I think the title speaks for itself. And let me preface the video by saying this is just my opinion, not me trying to declare it as a fact of the matter. So, to be bluntly honest right out of the gate, I will say that since its release, Elden Ring has barely been interesting to me. From a lore perspective, anyway. Gameplay-wise, they obviously knocked it out of the park. I've tried so very hard to enjoy Elden Ring's lore, and I've made videos and I've theorized, I've had long lore talks with people, but it was all an act for me. I was desperately trying to convince myself that I gave a shit about the lore, but I didn't. And I knew that I didn't because I never felt even a fraction of the way I felt with Dark Souls with Elden Ring. Exploring the world and the lore of Dark Souls for the first time was an incredibly magical experience, wherein I couldn't wait to uncover the next piece of the puzzle. It was its own adventure in a way, and it was thrilling. And I've yet to feel anything at all close to resembling that, even on my best day with Elden Ring. The lore is just so hollow to me, and pun intended. It feels too big and too widespread to achieve the level of depth that we had with Dark Souls' lore. Like, I don't know how many times I came across a character or event or location or what have you that would be mentioned literally only once or twice in an item description or dialogue, and it would just sit there, unconnected to anything. I spent a fair amount of hours sitting down and trying to connect so many things to any other part of the story to no avail, and that was incredibly and increasingly frustrating. Now, obviously, when we talk about Dark Souls in this regard, there's an entire trilogy to back it up, whereas Elden Ring is just one game, without even DLC at this point. And I understand that point. But even still, comparing Dark Souls 1 and Elden Ring still feels so empty in a lot more places that Dark Souls didn't. Presumably because they tried to go too big. But I don't want to seem like I'm stating that as a definitive. It could just be that I've gotten older and dumber since Dark Souls. I don't count that out at all. At the end of the day, I just don't care for Elden Ring's lore. I can't care for it, as much as I've tried to make myself. And I mean, I was stoked when they announced that George R.R. Martin was writing the foundation of the world building and whatnot. I had such high hopes, but it just turned out so bland and empty to me. Not to mention, it feels like a lot of the themes from Dark Souls are shamelessly recycled here. Like, don't get me started on the ancient dragons that were the OG rulers of the land until Gwyn, or the Erdtree, showed up and took over, and oh yeah, they're also made of stone. But the realization that I simply didn't like Elden Ring had me down for quite a bit. For the years that we waited for Elden Ring, it always felt like that was the future of my channel. I grew as a Dark Souls channel, so naturally I have to cover Elden Ring. And as much as I would attempt to branch out into different lore universes, I'd always feel discouraged when they wouldn't have as much success as I had hoped. But there was always, well, Elden Ring will be here at some point, and that was the future I was banking on. And after coming to the realization that I just wasn't interested in Elden Ring's lore at all, I felt incredibly, well, sad. I thought perhaps that was just the end of things, that I should walk away from my channel. And I guess I did for a little bit. Until another recent realization, which was that I love making videos. I love the way it stretches my creativity. I love the way I get to study lore like it was my homework. I love how satisfying it feels to upload a video that I thoroughly enjoyed every process of making, and how proud that would make me feel. And because I didn't ever feel that way with Elden Ring, it kept me in the dark for too long. And so I decided that if my channel was over, why not just do what I love with it? Make whatever videos I want about any game, about any number of games. Hell, maybe even I make more Dark Souls videos. It was eye-opening to truly feel like I could do anything I wanted, and not half-ass attempts to buy time until Elden Ring arrived. And I know that sounds really dumb because, oh, you're a YouTuber, like, who cares, dude, it's not even a real job, you could be doing anything this whole time anyway, dumbass. And I get that, but I don't know, you just can't change how you feel about things. And obviously I've deviated from the original point of this video. This is why I rarely do unscripted videos. But yeah, Dark Souls just kicks the shit out of Elden Ring. And if anything, maybe that even spoiled Elden Ring for me. Because it was just subpar in comparison, and it put too much weight on ER's shoulders that it just couldn't carry. And I'm sure this opinion will get me flamed, but I spent too long trying to make myself care, and I just can't now. But who knows? Maybe with DLCs and sequels perhaps, it will come around on me, and I truly hope that it does. I would love to feel as encapsulated by Elden Ring as I did Dark Souls, but I'm done trying to force it. You're gonna like what you're gonna like, and that's just the fact of the matter. So if you don't stick around because there won't be any Elden Ring content coming from this channel, at least anytime soon, I completely understand. But if you like video games in general and the different universes they inhabit and the lore within those worlds, then I think you'll enjoy the future content of this channel. Thanks for listening to my rant if you've made it this far. For the first time in a long time, I'm very excited to make videos, and already have quite a few projects in the pipeline that I'm very stoked for. Take care of yourselves, and let's all have a great 2023.